This podcast means that I've made into my 13th hour of rambling on in the car, usually in supermarket car parks. So it's fucking nuts that I've come this far with podcasts. I wasn't sure how long I'd be doing this for. I thought I'm going to do 10 and see what happens. And the feedback has 99% been positive, and I was like, that fucking blows me away. And since I've been putting a little thing on the end of it, leave a review and all that sort of stuff, people are there's a loop now. Like, I'm hearing people say this is useful for people. That's amazing, because it's useful for me to say this shit, and I'm glad that it's useful for you listening as well. I checked the stats this week, and it was about 150 people listening across Spotify and Apple each week, maybe heading towards 200 for the older ones that get listened to, which is nuts. I can't believe that. It's weird, because I kind of feel like people who listen to this, me talk normal shit, I feel like, yeah, this is like the stuff that I post on Instagram, the scripted videos and stuff. That's kind of me. That's how I'd like to talk in real life, but I don't talk like that. This is how I talk. And so I'm honoured that the 150 people who listen to this a week actually hear me talk normal, as opposed to the tens of thousands of people who see and hear the scripted version of what I sound like on Instagram and all that sort of shit. So for me, the podcast, while I put less effort into it, I feel like I feel a strange sense of extra connection to it, because I am just talking shit in the car, and just seeing what happens, and just trying to come up with a few topics, and then just press play and just go. I don't know if I've got that much to talk about this week. The only thing that's on top of my head is really... it looks like it's all going to be booked in, that I'm going to be doing this 1 hour show in Melbourne. I'll post about it soon, but I've just been thinking about how to put it together now, and how to reconcile the fact that a lot of my written material, my poetry, is recently, the stuff that went viral was very cynical, and I kind of tapped into my inner pissed off waggy cat's tail, when I have an outer happy waggy dog's tail. So there's two parts of me. Like, I'm very agreeable in the real world, in real life. Like, I just want to get shit done, over and done with. I can't be bothered being combative. But when I sit down and I think about things, I do have a slight pissed off, a very cynical outlook on life when I sit down and write. When I'm just going about the world, I almost feel like happy-go-lucky. So there's almost those two weird versions of me that I feel I have to reconcile somehow to pull off this 1 hour performance on a stage, on a small stage, and make it work. There's a lot of the stuff, is fucking pissed off, but then I'm like, everything's fun, I'm fine, everything's normal. And I've been like that for most of my life, but I kept my cynical, pissed off, waggy cat's tail sort of in check, under wraps. And it was weirdly what ended up resonating to a larger audience, my cynical, pissed off cat's tail, not my outer waggy, happy dog's tail. So it's almost like it's been there all along, but it's been weird to unleash it this last 6 months in scripted video form. It's a part of me that's always existed, but now I almost have to... I hate using psycho-babble, but integrate it into the person who I am as well. But not to the point where there's I'm just a dark fucker. And the weird thing is, they're both part of me, and they're both the real parts and versions of me. I hate to use the word version, but yeah, they're so black and white, dark day and night. It trips me out, and yeah, it is a weird wrestle. I am such a either the lights on or the lights off, life or death kind of character in my thinking. Like I rarely have the ability to think in the grey areas. I do, but I do get caught in the ends of things, not that middle ground. And I feel like I'm dragged along by myself a lot doing that shit. Yeah. I'm always curious about the secret parts of ourselves and what we really think about something, but we just leave it as a gut feel rather than trying to articulate it. And it's been weird articulating all these gut feelings that I've had over years about certain things and issues and jobs, and dress them up in words so I can see them. I can actually touch it. I can touch that feeling now, which was only ever a feeling. And so to make them all alive and real has been quite trippy. All those weird secret parts of myself, the secrets that I kept from myself, they're alive now and they're in the world, and so I feel like there's Jekyll and Hyde or some shit in some kind of way. And it has been trippy. I'm basically monetizing all those gut feelings, trying to make sense of feelings, monetizing them to pay my bills, to pay for cat food, all that sort of shit. And it's been a weird process of turning myself inside out and just almost like wearing my dirty undies the other way around for a day. And so I feel like I need to clean my metaphorical underpants and start again and go, okay, so there's these two parts of me, and they're both legitimate and they're both real and valid. Where do I go to from here? In a way, I almost feel like I need a spring clean after tapping hugely into that cynical part of myself, my pissed off cat's tail. I'm almost tired of it, but it's so entertaining. It's just to pull things apart and put them back together again in a way that they make sense. It's endlessly entertaining for me, but it's also like, I go, fuck, can't I just write some beautiful stuff how I used to see the world? Like it was just a bit more beautiful. For instance, I saw a series recently called Baby Reindeer, and it's about a male comedian, and he's a victim. He's a rape victim. He's a victim of a female stalker, and it's interesting because it's for the first time in a long time it's showing how men can be victims too. And I was like, oh, that's great. You know, everyone can be a victim. And I thought, fucking hell, we reached peak victimhood 3 years ago. Like, even though it's good to see on a very popular, critically acclaimed level, men can be victims as well. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm over this shit. I'm over fucking victimhood shit. Like, it's too little too late. I want it to stop. So maybe it's time for me to re-tap back into my outer waggy dog's tail that I've had and trained for years like a good doggy. And just, put that pissed off waggy cat's tail back into my gut for just a little bit. I know I should just balance the two, but I think I need to almost, just simmer down on pissed off cat's waggy tail for a bit. I often find I just say this shit to myself out loud like I just did then. This is just a realisation I'm having right now as I'm talking this shit. I often feel when I say these things aloud, I feel like I'm casting a spell, and it won't happen straight away, but within 1 or 2 weeks from now, I'll write something really beautiful, and I'll look back and I'll know that it was because I just said it into my phone right now as I record this podcast. I know that just planting that seed, I'm telling myself where I want to go. It might not be deliberate or willful, but it will just happen. I know that. It's so trippy. All you got to do is say, I'd really like to write something like this or something really beautiful, and then you'll go about your day and you'll forget about what you said, and then a week or two later it'll pop up and you go, oh, that's right, I just wrote this incredibly beautiful thing, and I actually said that I wanted to 2 weeks ago, and it happened. So yeah, your ears are always listening to your mouth, and I love that. I love that about our weirdness. We're like two separate people. There's two of us always at the same time. We've got this guardian angel always listening. Our ears are like a fucking excellent. I always thought, just on this as well, how the ears are always listening to the mouth. I feel like I was talking about in a previous podcast how I'm learning to write with my mouth by talking shit aloud, and the distance between my mouth and my ears is very small. But when I write into a laptop, I think it in my brain, then that thought comes down through my arms and onto a keyboard, and then it appears on a monitor, and then those words about a metre away from my eyes, processed by my eyes, and then back into my brain. So there's a bigger loop by thinking an idea and writing it down than there is by just saying it and directly to my ears, which are 10 centimetres away from my fucking mouth. Anyway, that was just kind of completely random shit. Anyway, I'm starting to blabber on, and if you'd like to, I'd love if you left a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this. I'd be very thankful and stuff. See ya.